Welcome to We Build. We don't just build buildings, we build communities.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to We Build, the official podcast of H.J. Russell & Company. I'm Paul Bryant.
And I'm Lenoya Murphy.
And we're broadcasting today from Midtown Atlanta from the H.J. Russell corporate headquarters. And our guest today is
Michael Russell,
CEO of H.J. Russell & Company. It's going to be a great show. Stay tuned.
He wasn't a guy who just dad loaned him a few $1 million to get started. He's an entrepreneur's entrepreneur, man. So anybody who wanted to have their own, he was that guy who gave us hope that it can be done.
Mr. Russell was critical for Atlanta at the time that we needed that.
He was famous for unlocking the unusual potential in people.
There are a number of individuals around the country who can be considered a part of the H.J. Russell University.
He could see and visualize opportunities where others couldn't, and he would just dare to step into the space.
Everything in the world he was born into was designed to be sure he did not succeed. And Herman, in his lifetime, overcame all of that.
Think of it, he's been on the lowest rung you can think of being a shoe shine guy to, being on some of the most powerful boards in town. Atlanta without an HJ, I don't know what that looks like. I don't think I want to know what that looks like.
I was determined to improve their life and my life. And in many times I said, hell with segregation. I'm going to be what I want to be.
Welcome back to We Build. Lenoya, I got to tell you something. I've been waiting for this a long time.
Yeah, I have to.
Forgive me. My mother always taught me that ladies should go first, but let me get this first question in,
Go
please.
ahead. Go ahead, Paul.
Mike, what's it like being a Russell in Atlanta?
Well, Paul, as you know, the Russell family has been in Atlanta for generations, and Herman Russell, my father, certainly made a name and an impact on the city. So being one of his children and being the CEO of this legacy organization, H.J. Russell and Company, it comes with a lot of responsibility. But as you guys know me, both of y'all know me well, I operate from a concept of a glass half full.
Right.
I count my blessings, I count my opportunities, and I certainly don't fret on the challenges and responsibilities that come with being in my seat and being in my role. So I look at it as a blessing every day. I wake up every day and I look forward to being able to build upon my own legacy and build upon making this company better every day. So I'm excited. I'm excited about it, and I look at it as an awesome opportunity and responsibility to sit in my seat and be in the role I am at H.J. Russell & Company.
So when you mention responsibility, what are some of the responsibilities of being the CEO of a large company?
Well, I take it very personal that I impact people's lives, who work for H.J. Russell & Company. And I always want to be a positive impact on people's lives. And I want to be able to provide an environment where people are growing and people are learning and people are getting better every day. If you're doing that on your own, you're also positively impacting the H.J. Russell & Company brand and legacy. So I look upon the responsibility as where I'm providing the environment that allows people to grow and thrive. And when you grow and thrive, the company will grow and thrive.
Yeah, so H.J. Russell & Company has fundamentals.
Yes, yes.
And those fundamentals help influence the culture.
Right.
And just out of curiosity, so everyone will know,
right,
what is your favorite fundamental to share with?
What is my favorite fundamental? One, I'm not going to necessarily say my favorite, but one that I absolutely try to make sure that we don't all forget is to have fun. And at the end of the day, hey, we're working. We got to make an impact. We got responsibilities. We have to be accountable, as we work every day. But at the same time, we have to find a way to enjoy what we're doing. We got to find a way to laugh as we go through these days, because we all are going to have challenges. We all are going to have disappointments. But at the same time, we're also going to have fun, and we're going to have a chance to gather. We're going to have a chance to make decisions. We're going to have successes. And, through all of that, we have to not take ourselves so seriously that we can't sit back and laugh at each other, at yourself, and be able to move forward. So that's certainly a fundamental that it sounds simple, but it's very important to me in a healthy organization.
Well, you hate to be somewhere 8 hours a day where you don't have any fun ever. That's not a recipe for success. But for those out there that are listening that, are entrepreneurs, business people that don't know what those fundamentals are, could you go into a little more depth about what our fundamentals are and why we use them?
Right. Well, they're called fundamentals. It was derived from a person who I had the chance to interact with, who has a company that really helps businesses like ours implement their fundamentals. And at the end of the day, it's about behaviors. It's really about what behaviors do you want within your organization that will help grow and make it consistently successful. And we have 25 the fundamentals here at H.J. Russell & Company, and have fun is one of them, but it's a number of them. Do the right thing. I think the one this week is what, Lenoya? I'll ask you.
Be fanatical about response time.
Be fanatical about response time. So it's really about instilling behaviors in the organization that will lead the organization to success. And that's really what the fundamentals are all about. And it's about how to, so we are now in the, we started it at the beginning of 21, and we're now in October, and we're excited about what it's doing. I know you guys are a very vital part of it, but it's really about instilling a certain kind of behaviors that positively impact your culture of your organization.
And see, Mike, as I think about those fundamentals, I think it's a very intelligent, creative, and fun way that we have defined the Russell culture. I mean, those fundamentals are who we are and how we think as a company, and it's powerful. I agree.
Yeah. So one of the reasons why I asked about the Russell fundamentals is because, like Paul and I talk about often, it's like a family here. And you being from a family owned business, I know that there are some challenges, and I thought that you could give insight to others who have family run businesses to help them influence their culture, and actually build, and we'll talk about it more as far as like generations and passing that on. So like what advice would you give to other family owned leaders of businesses to help strengthen their company and their I would say their ties, their bond, because I know it's stressful sometimes.
Well, I think when I talk to different groups and individuals and about family and business, I often say that family and business don't naturally mix, and I mean, we all have families and we all work for businesses or have been in businesses. So we know it's something that you have to be very intentional about growing and about making work. And as you all know, I run this organization, and from an ownership perspective, I'm in partnership with two siblings. I have a sister and a brother. And they both are we're all a part of the ownership here at H.J. Russell. So we all have to respect each other. We all have to find a way to work together successfully. And fortunately, we've been doing that, and we do get along, and we're able to get to decisions that benefit the organization. So my advice to businesses, to people out here who are growing businesses and have family in businesses is, one, you have to be very intentional about working with your family, and you have to be intentional about making sure that people understand that even though your family, this is a business that you come to every day, and you have to be accountable like the rest of the team who work for whatever your organization is. Everybody has to be accountable. And secondly, it's really about setting ground rules and expectations. I mean, your family members, from my perspective, have the same, if not more, responsibilities than everybody else. So, you know, you have to show up on time. You have to be willing to be accountable. And I just, to me, that's the start of it. If everybody understands that, you know, even though your family, we're running a business, and respect that and understand that as a family member, you have at least as much, if not more, responsibility than others in the organization, and you have to approach your job that way.
When you look at those fundamentals of running a family business, is there something you can remember? Is there something your father, like, you know, kids, this is what you got to do? Or, you know, growing up, working in the company, did he intentionally, like, put nuggets in your heads as to, you know, helping you run this? I just think that there aren't a lot of generational businesses out there.
Well, no doubt. I mean, I think anybody who grows up around an entrepreneur, and Herman Russell was no doubt an entrepreneur, and he no doubt came from a time period. He grew up during the 30s and the 40s and the 50s. He came from a period where, you know, where you were expected to work. You were expected to show up, and you were not giving much. You had to go out and get it. And he instilled that in all of his children. So, you know, just simple principles of, one, you got to show up and you got to deliver. Two, do what you say you're going to do is one that I always remember. He's always was about doing what you say you're going to do, and you're going to, you know, you're going to be successful. You'll be okay. And three, just the value of a dollar. I mean, I was never in a situation where I didn't understand that. Even though I was blessed to have everything that I needed, I certainly didn't get everything I wanted. And it was certainly an environment where you had to understand that to achieve certain things, to get to certain points, you know, you had to earn it.
Now, I heard tell that you guys had to work during the summer.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I mean, sweat on your brow type work.
I got a great picture, that my father had in his office when, you know, for years and years, I think I was about 8 or 9 years old. I have a hard hat on. I have a shovel that's taller than I am, a broom and a shovel, and they're both above my head, and I got a bead of sweat running down my brow, and I look like I want to go home. You
probably did.
Well, I know I did. And but I was sweeping. I think I was sweeping sidewalks at some of our apartment complexes. But you know, that to me is a great picture, and it shows that, you know, I was out getting it as a young man, and even though at that time I'm sure I didn't want to be there, I'm grateful today for the work ethic that was instilled in me.
That's wonderful. Yeah. Well, this is a great place for us to just take a break. And when we come back, we're going to hear more from Michael Russell, CEO of H.J. Russell & Company.
We've only just begun.
So we've had a day of celebration, and it's been amazing. We are launching our We Build campaign as we celebrate our 60th year of incorporation. We build culture, amazement. We build smiles. So you see, it's not about the structure, but it's about the feeling of the people that will experience our structures.
Hello everyone, we are back with We Build, the podcast, the official podcast of H.J. Russell & Company. And I'm Lanoya Murphy, along with...
I'm Paul Bryant.
And we have Michael Russell as our guest today, and Michael is our CEO. So Michael, we were continuing our conversation about growing up in a family business and how you worked so hard, so hard, and your father instilled an incredible work ethic in you, and I've seen it myself in you. So let's talk more about that. Generations. So let's talk about the generations and you passing it on down to the next generation of Russells.
Well, yeah, happy to. And I think one interesting footnote, you know, I really represent a third generation of the Russell family. My grandfather had his own business, which was a plastering company, which my father, you know, was a master plasterer and ended up inheriting, you know, his father's business. And now I represent really the third generation of Russells that are continuing a spirit of Black business ownership. And we now have another generation, my kids and my siblings' kids, who are now, most of them are in their 20s and some in their 30s. And you know, some are in the business, some are not in the business, which is totally fine. But yes, certainly, as I mentioned earlier, you know, I think in a family and business, you have to be intentional about how that works. And we are, you know, we have four of the next generation who are involved in the family business in different capacities, and it's working out great. And but you have to be very intentional about what are their roles, what are their responsibilities, what are their opportunities to move up in the organization. You know, and we are working continuously working on that, but we feel good about where we are. And at the end of the day, we want obviously family who are interested in the businesses that we operate to be able to be part of them, but also very much supportive of those who are not in the family businesses but have carved their own path and their own, you know, in their own careers.
You know, I didn't want to butt in or stop the flow there. That was a great answer, great question, but I'm really stuck on, this is 4 generations, your grandfather, your father, yourself, your generation, and your kids. So 4 generations of entrepreneurs. So I mean, pretty much since slavery, the Russell family has only worked for themselves.
Yes.
That's amazing. Again, I said earlier, this place feels like home, you know, because it's so family oriented. And you mentioned it's a blessing. There's no shying away from that. You're believers here also, right? As a company.
Sure. We, you know, we take our faith and the fact that that we have been blessed, and you know, with blessing comes responsibility. And we are Christians, and we do believe in the fact that businesses like ours are here for a reason. It's not just make a profit, but it's also as an opportunity to grow people, to give back, to be a positive contributor, you know, to your community, and to be able to have a positive impact wherever you are. So, you know, a lot of our motto of "We Build" is really a part of the core culture of the Russell family also.
Beautiful. So what's the future hold?
Wow, the future. Hey, I feel the future is bright. We're in a very positive place right now as an organization. We're growing. We have good people who are really the key to any business growth, is having good people. And what I'm trying to do is provide the vision, provide the avenue for people to grow. And I'm excited. I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about you know, some of the opportunities that are sitting in front of us as we head into 22. And I'm continuing to look and think about ways that we can continue to leverage and grow this brand, which continues to grow this enterprise.
Michael, we talked a lot about, you know, your father and what it was like being a young Russell and the work ethic, commitment to community. But let's hear a little bit about you personally. Tell us about your family life.
Well, my family life, I again look at that as a blessing, Paul. I've been married for 28 years to Lavette Russell. She's an Atlanta native, and she has certainly been a blessing in my life to help me grow.
Spelman grad.
Yep, a Spelman grad, right? And she's again from Atlanta with the Spelman, and is now a Spelman trustee, so very engaged with her institution and love Spelman. And we have 2 kids. One son who's 27, and he works for Live Nation. He worked 5 years for the NBA and their associate program up in New York, and now is doing great at Live Nation. And I have my youngest son, Benjamin, and he is here working at H.J. Russell & Company. He just completed his first year. He's part of our construction group, and we're excited about him and where he's going and his growth. And so it's been awesome. And so my family has been a real inspiration for me, and been a real key place for me to have solace and to be able to have peace of mind.
Well, I know that we had an event at a church where we were feeding homeless people, right? And your wife was there. And what was wonderful was she was right there with her sleeves rolled up. You know, she was at the table. Where can I work? She wasn't sitting back, looking, observing. She was hands on deck. And it was early in the morning. It was in the heart of the hood. And you know, Lavette Russell was right there, you know, getting it in. Yeah. So. Oh yeah, she's a doer, no doubt, and will engage where needed, and has a you know, real skill set around just building her own relationships, and you know, she's done some incredible things herself in the city. So we have offices in Atlanta, Dallas, Savannah. Where do we look to grow? You often talk about that Southern smile. What is that? Well, Southern smile, just for our listeners, is really the metaphor of Texas. We have we're based here in Atlanta, but we really do business from Texas back through Georgia up through Virginia. So it's really called that Southern smile. Is that metaphor of what we say there? But we love those areas. We think the Southern Crescent is really just a place that is going to continue to grow. Even though we work in other places, Paul. We've worked in Phoenix. We've worked in LA. We've worked in Dallas. We've worked in Buffalo, New York. We worked in New York City. So we have worked in a lot of different cities, but that's just, the areas that, we're naming is where we kind of have a focus. But, the reality, we're open for business, Paul, where it makes business sense for the company. That. So, but we're excited about, those areas that you named, the Southern smile, but also we have some other areas that we're looking at opportunities, and we're excited about what we think can come of those in 22.
So one of the questions that I do wonder, and this is like just an odd question maybe, but I just wonder when you drive across the city, in your Uber, and you're looking at the buildings, because, Russell pretty much has influenced the skyline, and across Atlanta especially, and as well as Dallas. And what do you think about when you look at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, or you look at like Georgia Pacific Tower? Do anything cross your mind, or?
Yeah, I think, one of the things I love about construction is so tangible. You see it every day. You can put your hands on it, right, and you can see what you've been able to help create. But what I really see is the impact it's had on our community. What is the impact it's had on people, the impact it's had on sporting events here in this city, the impact that it's had on jobs. So I look at a lot of different things, but ultimately it's about the fact that H.J. Russell & Company has been a critical part of making these buildings come to reality. And that's powerful. That legacy will be there when I'm long gone, and when my kids are long gone. So, some of their kids will enjoy that. And in fact, I really think of that when I think about the museum, the National African American Museum in D.C.
The Smithsonian.
The Smithsonian Museum that we were part of building, which it touches me to think that my kids will go there, and they will be in a building that Russell played an important part in helping to build. That's pretty powerful, that, you know, you'll go into a house that houses Black history, and it will be a place that, you know, my grandkids and great-grandkids will have an opportunity to enjoy.
Well, that's what legacy is all about. And what a great question, well, what a great answer to end with. That's all the time we have. Michael, thank you so much for being our guest today. This was magnificent. And if one thing I want to ask is that we just get you to come back sometime.
Yeah.
Paul, I'll be happy to come back if you guys will let me come back.
All right.
All right.
Wonderful.
Of course.
Okay, thank you all.
You're welcome. And that'll do it for We Build.
We Build, hosted by Paul Bryant and Lanoya Murphy, recorded at Katsukian Studios.